Hello and welcome back, where we uncover the surprising truths behind the things you think you understand. Today, we're diving headfirst into a scenario that sounds like a nightmare straight out of a movie: a pirate attack on a luxury cruise ship. Imagine the scene. It's the early morning of November 5th, 2005. The Seabourn Spirit, a majestic 440-foot-long cruise ship carrying 115 passengers, embarks on a 16-day voyage from Egypt to Kenya. But as it reaches the coast of Somalia, two speedboats suddenly appear, heavily armed bandits opening fire and attempting to board the vessel. What ensued was a chilling standoff between luxury and lawlessness at sea, and while the crew miraculously prevented the pirates from boarding, this incident raises a profound question. How exactly does a cruise ship, the very embodiment of elegance and relaxation, defend itself from modern-day maritime marauders? You might think being caught in such an incident would be a passenger's worst nightmare, a guaranteed compromise of safety. But the surprising truth is, your safety isn't as jeopardized as you might imagine. And that's exactly the kind of hidden reality we love to explore. First, let's understand the pirates' true agenda. Unlike the swashbuckling tales of old, modern pirates aren't typically after the people on board. Their eyes are set on something else entirely: money, goods, and high-value cargo, which is why their primary targets are almost always cargo or container ships, vessels laden with valuable merchandise, or entire ships that can be held for ransom. These attacks most frequently occur in specific, lucrative regions and popular trade routes where opportunities for financial gain are highest. So while passengers might find themselves in the unnerving vicinity of an incident, the pirates' focus isn't on causing harm to individuals. They're driven by a cold, hard financial agenda. But this doesn't mean passengers are entirely safe, and understanding where these threats occur is key to appreciating the robust precautions taken. As while piracy can happen in various areas, some regions are notorious hotspots. Historically, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Nigeria have seen significant activity. And in fact, in 2022, the majority of attempted piracy attacks occurred off the Straits of Singapore, with Southeast Asia accounting for a staggering 41% of global pirate attacks between 1995 and 2013. However, one area stands out for its history of relentless piracy: Somalia and its surrounding waters. The Somali piracy saga began in the early 2000s, fueled by a devastating mix of political instability, poverty, and lawlessness. Initially, the threat was aimed at international fishing vessels, but it rapidly escalated to target international shipping during the intense civil war in Somalia between 2006 and 2009. At their peak in 2011, Somali pirates carried out an astonishing 212 attacks across a vast area spanning Somali waters, the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden. Actions that cost the global economy an estimated $18 billion in a single year, with pirates hijacking ships as far as 1,000 nautical miles from the Somali coast, holding both vessels and crews for massive ransoms. The World Bank estimates that Somali pirates raked in over $400 million in ransom payments between 2005 and 2012 alone. But thankfully, concerted international efforts, including naval patrols and increased security measures, have significantly curbed Somali piracy in recent years, with the UN Security Council even adopting resolutions to combat this persistent threat. Yet the question remains: why do these pirates continue to risk everything? Piracy isn't just a romanticized adventure, It's a brutal business driven by economic desperation. And while cargo ships remain the bread and butter for their valuable contents, luxury cruise ships have also become enticing targets. To a pirate, these vessels are floating treasure troves, setting their sights on multi-million-dollar ransoms from each passenger. This shift has altered pirate dynamics, impacting vital waterways like the Suez Canal and forcing changes in global trade routes, highlighting a reality you might be surprised about regarding international shipping. When faced with the threat of pirate attacks, cruise ships actually have a robust, often unseen arsenal of defense mechanisms. First up are anti-climb walls, ingenious physical barriers lining the ship's sides, designed with slippery surfaces or sharp edges to make scaling the vessel a daunting, if not impossible, task. Surveillance takes center stage, employing state-of-the-art monitoring systems, sonar, radar, and cameras that work in tandem to spot approaching pirate vessels from a considerable distance, giving the ship crucial time to react. Should intruders somehow bypass outer defenses, safe rooms, or citadels act as fortified havens for the crew, equipped with communication gear, serving as a last line of defense for distress calls and ensuring personnel safety. Ever heard of sonic cannons? These non-lethal devices emit disorienting high-pitched sounds, effectively deterring pirates from getting too close without causing permanent harm. And who knew water could be a weapon? High-pressure water hoses spray powerful jets, creating a slippery, chaotic environment around the ship, making it nearly impossible for pirates to maintain footing or board. But here's an even more surprising piece of tech about maritime security: the P-trap concept, a non-lethal anti-piracy system that deploys thin lines just at water level around the vessel, which, when pirate skiffs or boats make contact, get tangled in their engines, effectively disabling the attacking craft. These innovative methods are part of a continuous evolution in combating piracy at sea. If and when any of these defense mechanisms fail to deter pirates from accessing the ship, most cruise lines have precise, multi-stage response plans in place. Detection kicks in first, with surveillance systems confirming approaching threats. Once confirmed, the ship's crew swiftly communicates alerts to passengers, crew, and maritime authorities. Emergency response protocols go into overdrive. Safe areas are secured, and highly trained security personnel are mobilized to potential hotspots. If things escalate, armed security teams are on standby, their mission being to minimize harm while neutralizing the threat, always prioritizing the safety of passengers and crew. Communication with maritime authorities is paramount, establishing contact to coordinate support and provide real-time updates. Finally, legal measures come into play. The ship collaborates with law enforcement for repercussions, ensuring these pirates face the severe consequences of their actions under maritime law. Captured pirates are handed over to authorities for prosecution, and the punishments are severe, reflecting the gravity of their crimes. Nations worldwide meet maritime piracy, an age-old menace, with resolute measures. In Singapore, piracy can be punished with life imprisonment and caning. And in India, an act of piracy can lead to life imprisonment or even death, particularly if it causes or attempts to cause death. These laws aim to reduce pirate attacks and create a sufficient deterrent. A remarkable instance where such justice was served is the case of the FB Kalifang II hijacking in Nigeria, where a federal high court sentenced 10 pirates to 10 years in prison under the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offenses Act of 2019. Their convictions underscore the relentless global effort against piracy, with organizations like the Nigerian Navy and Maritime Police working in tandem. Think back to incidents like the Achille Lauro hijacking or the dramatic decline in Somali piracy. These illustrate how coordinated actions by maritime police and naval task forces lead to the capture and prosecution of pirates. Here's the bottom line. Despite these incidents and the sensational headlines, cruise ships remain remarkably safe. The multi-layered procedures and sophisticated technologies in place have proven incredibly effective, ensuring the safety of passengers and crew even during rare encounters with pirates. So rest assured, even in the unlikely event of such an encounter, the measures employed by these ships stand as a formidable shield against danger, reaffirming that a cruise remains a safe and truly unforgettable voyage. In the vast expanse of the seas, where pirates may still roam, the strength of cruise ship defenses and the firm hand of maritime law ensure that safety prevails, making every journey an adventure, secure and memorable.